Let us start with the first part. We want to think a little bit about the storyline and also about the title slide. So maybe it's not the best thing to do, but I decided I will start looking or sharing what I had before, the title slide of my presentation. The best is actually to forget what we had in the past and start over new. So I make a new presentation, File, New, and when I search New Presentation, I can here select Luleå University of Technology. And there is several templates. There is, for example, the Swedish and the English version, and one with a white and one with a blue background. So LTU has a ready-made template with a blue background. Maybe we can start off with that one. I do not decide to use the white one. I almost never would like to use the white one. If you really want to use the white one, it's okay. And that's a general thing and thought here. I show you the 9 things which we can mainly improve in our slide deck. But if you, for some reason, either because you don't really want to or because the company you're in doesn't allow you, cannot change one of them, it's okay. Do as much as you want and can. So I decide to take the blue one and make a new presentation. I think I now have to make a new share because you still see the old one. And that's a new one here. So here we have a new presentation. I personally do not like the white box here. That's, I think, a no-go in presentations. And if you go here to view and go to the slide master, that's something. We can change that. You can say, oh, here, this little box should actually also be black. As we learned, the best contrast is white on black. We just change the box to black. Is not even available in the template. So we do it by ourselves. So, because the best contrast we get with white text on black background. It's a weird thing that they allow for white but not for black. So I didn't do much, and I'm sorry, LTU graphics and design team, for messing around with the template. But as we learned in the video from David Phillips, and there's a lot of other evidence as well, for good presentations, we really want to have black background. Now our slide looks like that. We can close the master view. And it says here name, but it should be the title of the presentation. And I think the title was good, so I will write the same. The only adjustment I will do is nowadays I'm not using capital letters anymore. That's a design choice I learned to do after I went to even more course material from David Phillips. And I make a line break for the future possibilities, and I will make it in bold. And as a subtext, I will use then the things maybe similar to my previous presentations. So I will write Markus Nowicki, bold that as well, and then Luleå University of Technology. And you can add some more things, but don't put too much things on the title slide. Now we want to think about the storyline. And as you remember, I had already the idea of a teaser, but I want to now do it the way how we should do when we start with a blank presentation. So what we actually do is we do not start designing slides. We start thinking of what we want to present. And that would be here, remembering we want to introduce ourselves to faculty and an appointment board in a university. Whatever you want to do, you have the 3 why. 3 why. Maybe you notice I removed the bullet points. I always remove bullet points. It's unnecessary content on the slide. And we will come to that in the next session. The 3 why is my why. Why am I interested in doing that? The external why. And their why. And quite often, most of the time, it's the best to focus on their why. Why should the people in the audience not watch on their mobile phone and scroll Facebook? Why should they listen to your presentation? And that can be in various contexts very different. Your students, you want to typically motivate by some application-oriented example of why the theory you're going through is very interesting. In conferences, you want to impress them by the main outcome of your work. Here, I want to kind of impress them by showing that I have the right skill set, I have the right experience to be a chaired professor in a university. And after that, I can copy now the slide from the past. It will look now a little bit ugly here. Nope. It's already adjusted to the new layout. This will be my why. And then the next part of the storyline will be the agenda. And I just want to highlight, I will now not go into the improvements of the slides in terms of layout and amount of elements and so on. I will just copy the things from the past that you here see what roughly the storyline will be. This is how I start setting up a presentation. I not think about the slides, but more about the purpose of the presentation. Why is it interesting? And when we found that, we really make them also feel. How do we make them feel, right? How do we make them feel? Then we will grasp their attention. How do you make someone feel? The best is that you are authentic. What you're presenting here is really you. So you really burn for the subject. You really like this theory. You really like the research which you have performed. Or here in that case, authenticity was almost clear because it's really me who is presenting and who went through these stages. And in some of these stages, when I present them later on, I can actually show them how I felt when I was in that moment. And then when they feel with me, they will be even more excited about listening to the presentation. That's all about title and storyline. The last thing, which I will not now put in the slide, is think as much as you want, no, as much as you do think about the start of your presentation, think also about the end of your presentation. Because it's very important to have a final great take-home message. It could be the final most important takeaway from the presentation. Or if you're, like I gave once a TED talk, if you do that, then you want to get them active. You want them to continue thinking, not to stop after the presentation is over. So this final call to action, take home message or whatever, is as important as the start of your presentation.